Welcome to the second last month of the year, where we share top games of November 2023. Part of it, we were actually in Bali.
Yes, it didn't stop us from playing.
No, absolutely not.
Got through plenty games while we were there.
We brought with us plenty of games, and we also been playing on BGA on Bali.
Yes,
In
and
Bali.
I did fell ill for a couple of days.
I know,
so
we had to lock down
Plenty of time to
play. Well, if you didn't fall ill, do you think we'll play as many games there?
It depends on our discipline. We had lots of games to play.
We have lots of games. It was from GenCom, from Essence, and then a few others. And hello, it's Stella, and this is Tarrant from Meeple University.
Yes.
Hope you're well. Hope you have been playing games. If not, that's okay. Holidays coming, where we are going to play even more games. And we have been also busy doing some Christmas Parody, our annual thing that we usually do. Anyways, back to these games. These games would be the ones that we got review copy. We have been commissioned to do a video for it, and could be anything else. Could be prototype, could be published copy.
Yeah, could be old games, could be new games. These are new to us games from November, and this is our opinion.
Indeed. Let's start with number 5.
Who's number 5?
You can start.
Me? All right. My number 5 is Waterfall Park. When was this one released?
It was Essen, I believe.
Essen release.
2023.
Yep. So this is quite different. To me, this is different to anything published that I've played. It's actually very similar to one of our friends' prototypes that we played a few years ago. But this is pretty much a game of pure negotiation. If I show you quickly on the back here, there is a map, and you are dealt some random locations, and you are dealt some random types of attractions to build into this theme park. And from there, you just negotiate. You can trade locations, you can trade attractions, you can trade money. Your aim is to get to a point where you're building clusters of the same attractions next to each other in the park. And what makes this sort of game work, like it's very different, but you've got to enter it with the mindset that every trade you can do, you're trying to trade to bigger clusters, get you more money, but every trade you can do, even if it's not a perfect trade, even if the other person gets a slightly better deal out of it, as long as you're better off than you were before, then you've just made a step on the 3 people at the table who didn't do a trade. And so you just want to you draft the things that are going to help you trade with people the most.
Yeah.
And I just, it's strange actually. It's not the sort of game I would you would expect me to find fun, but I just think it works really well. And this one gradually filters things into the game. It's played over 4 rounds. You get more locations at random. You get more things at random. It all kind of progresses and adds these checkpoints. So I think this really plays well.
There are some smart things in the game as well, and the things that you don't actually think of after you learn the rules. So like, oh yeah, just about negotiations, but then, hey, there's this and there's that. I picked it up from Essen thinking that something that you're probably not going to like, so I brought it in to play in the meetup, and ta-da, here it is.
Here it is.
You never know.
In the 5.
You can never assume. My number 5 is Featherweight Fiesta. Well, this is also an Essen release, or Essen pickup, I should say. Yep. And the game is basically that. So you use the game box. This is like a sleeve. You use the game box, and then there's some clips to make electric pole, and you put the birds on there. And it could be cooperative, it could be competitive puzzle that you can do to actually put the birds in certain configurations, and you complete these objective cards. That's basically it.
Yeah. It's a game with a great table presence because even though the core of it is essentially just a tile placement game of putting certain types of birds into a row, you're hanging these little bird pieces on elastic telephone wires.
Yes.
So that looks really cool.
It's so
and
cool.
There's a bit of tactics there involved in taking the bird someone else might need, or you can spend an egg to move or something like that. Or in the cooperative game, you've got to try to complete the objectives as efficiently as possible.
And at the end.
So they just throw this. It's actually really clever for a thing like this. They just throw this little dexterity
Challenge.
flourish on
Yes.
the end of the game. And you pull down on the bird and you release it, and it goes flying on this electric wire. And other birds may fall off the wire. And if you can make it so that you leave exactly one bird on a wire, you get some extra points.
Indeed. It's very
And
clever.
so it means it's not a dexterity game, but it just has this nice, fun little dexterity bit at the end.
And both cooperative and competitive are working fine. Like, depends whether you're playing with family, want to be working together, or you want to just play against each other. That's it.
Yes. Number 4 for me is Quicksand, and it probably shouldn't surprise anybody because this is a game that was very similar to Kites last year, which was my second favourite game of the year. This is a real-time, low rules hourglass game, and it is very similar because it's a turn-based real-time, and you're playing cards to keep hourglasses flipped. And you've got to time your turns so that you're flipping them effectively. And in this case, every time you flip one, if there's space, you're also moving it along a track. And so there's a number of objectives that you're trying to meet there. You can have long tracks, more hourglasses, fast, slow, etc. So it's much like Kites. It's very easy to break out, very easy to play in a meetup or in any context.
Yes.
Now, this was 4th for the month instead of 2nd for the year, so it won't surprise you to learn that I prefer Kites to this. But this has all of the same things which made Kites a really fun and really engaging game, and really good in the real-time space.
Yeah, really
simple
fun.
rule set. You need a simple rule set for real-time.
Yeah, I think we've tried other real time that are a little bit more complex and doesn't really gel for us. We're talking about us anyway, right? And cooperative also is easier because then you can help each other. You can just check each other's rules, make sure that everyone's doing it correctly. It's a really fun game here.
Yes.
My 4th of the month is Side Quest 7C. This is actually part of the Side Quest series by Board and Dice. It's like escape room puzzle in a box type of thing. The unique thing, what I love about it has very smart puzzle answering system. I mean, it's a fun game as well. It's got a little bit of story. You work together. I recommend 1 to 4 players, but then hey, it's cooperative. You can play as many players as you can. Pretty much almost no rules to learn. You just have a deck of cards. You set the hint sheet somewhere and then answer sheet. You keep opening up the deck and then learn the rules as you go, and then trying to find out how to solve the mystery.
Yes.
So kind of like cryptic puzzle-ish. And you've got this 3D, so you use the game box as well. I like when this is like the second game of the month that uses the game box. Use the game box as part of the puzzle, and you find it and you put card, you collect the 4 things for the answer sheet, and then you line them up correctly. If you line up correctly, and then you get the answer, and then move on to the next puzzle. So very fun, and I don't know, I just love escape. We've played lots and lots of escape room in the box game, like Exit, Unlock, Escape Room, the game. I'm sure that there are like 5 others that we've played, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, and more, I know the escape room in a box types of series are looking for new ways to stand out, and so this one, assembling rooms, slipping cards in to cover things over when you've discovered them. It's a new way that kind of brings it to life, brings it to 3D life. I know it's not the first one that did it. Cranio did the Mystery House one
Right,
a little while ago, which was quite tough to play. I think you had to look through doors.
It's a little bit hard to see, yeah.
This one is a bit simpler, and
it
plays pretty effectively.
And so far there are 2. The other one is Side Quest Nemesis, and I think there are more coming soon. By the way, if I have videos related to this game, I'll link down below in the video description. And if you enjoy something like this, please say hello, let us know. Hit like and maybe not, subscribe to see more videos like this. Next one.
So speaking of Cranio, this was Cranio's big Essen release, one of their big Essen releases.
I believe.
Simone Luciani with and Danilo Sabia. This game is Rats of Wistar. And this is, it's oddly brightly coloured for a
medium,
Euro game.
medium to, I wouldn't say too complex, but the decision can be complex a little bit.
Yeah, so this, It's very Simone Luciani in style because it has an action rondel, and the strength of your action is going to depend on stuff and what you pick. So yeah, we've seen that before. What this does really cleverly, it's got two things. So there's a rondel of actions. Each wedge is associated with two main actions, and as you go through the game, you are placing your own mice in those sectors and moving, or rats, and then moving them around when you get the option to do so. And you want to have them in the segment which corresponds to the action you're taking because it makes it stronger. It's also pretty tight from a worker placement standpoint. You definitely get that fear that someone's going to take the action you wanted and leave you without the option you needed.
Scales up and down for the number of players.
Yeah. And I think that's quite good, and there's always an action which is really tight for a round, like there's only one space available for it versus 3, and that rotates from round to round, so you can sort of plan ahead and things like that. So it's got, it has that competition, which I like to see. We say it all the time. If I'm given complete free rein to play a multiplayer solitaire game, I don't feel that has replayability, whereas this one's got some pretty tight worker placement. Not Agricola tight, not old school tight, but decent. So yeah, no, it plays really nicely, and it is very bright and cute.
Talking about replayability, it is highly replayable, I think, because there are so many things you can do, different strategy, different points to get, and even the cards, you're playing the cards, and that could be engine building. And it's just so many different ones, and you tie in with different type of actions. So, very good game. My number 3 is Footprints by Chili Fox Games. This is also another Essen pickup, Essen release, I believe. And this game, and you think that it's about a race in the Ice Age, but really it's more than that. So you have a limited amount of cards, so it's hand management. And each round you pick a card and then you draw more cards. And end game trigger is by when...
It's either when someone races to the end, or when everyone's out of cards.
Out of cards. Everyone out of cards. So yes, there's a race, but this is like a really tight and punishing puzzle. So you want to have to make sure that you have the right card to move to the right terrain. So there are different types of terrains. You have to have the card that lets you move to that terrain, and then you can combo the move. So bang, 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 you move forward. But then you don't necessarily want to move forward. You want to go and then do a pit stop. I call it pit stop, but stop somewhere to gain points, gain bonuses, collect resources so that you can gain your point generating cave or cave paintings and things. So, and you also engine build at the same time to make you move faster at certain terrain. So just all the good things. Like I must admit that I love racing games, and this is kind of like a twist on the racing, not necessarily to finish, but the most points.
Yes, and it gets very tight because when there's a bonus on the board, especially at high player counts, when there's a bonus on the map, if you land on it, you block other... Normally you get them when you move through spaces, but if you land on it, you block other players from taking it. So it can actually be quite punishing. You want to try to move away from where other players might be going to make sure that you've got that flexibility to get the resources which you really need to score points.
Yes, I really enjoy puzzling out which card I need to play first, which one I need. I mean, you draw an amount of cards and then you pick from your hand, but then, you gotta have to almost like ration your card to make sure that you have enough to get whatever you want.
Yes.
That's Footprints.
My number 2 is Maps of Mystera by Sit Down. Essen as well.
Yes.
Essen release, already on BGA as well. And this is, I'm not going to say it's the second most fun necessarily. It's not explosive fun. But what this does...
It's not explosive fun. That's not really a good way of introducing the game, Tarrant.
But what I think is... Why this is rated so high for me is that what this does with tile placement, I'm really impressed with, because there are so many tile placement games out there. They've been very, very popular over the last few years. And every game is is looking for what is the twist on the tile placement. If there's no twist, if it's just draft put, then it's, you know, it's kind of whatever. We've seen it all before. What this manages to do is very elegantly link a common tile placement with a personal tile placement. And so you're always placing domino pieces in 4 different terrains, and you're placing them on your personal board, and then you're placing the matching tiles out on the common board, and you have to walk around the common board to put things near where you are. If there's already a tile out there on the common board where you put yours, then if they match, it's confirmed and it's flipped over permanently. So it permanently becomes that type of terrain. If it doesn't match, then you just swap it out and you keep swapping it out until it matches. Then there's a way of scoring on the common board, a way of scoring on your personal board, and a way of scoring that joins between the two. So on the main board, you want to capture areas which are going to be big clusters. On your personal board, you've got your own objectives and you need to meet your own objective. And then you want to have as many tiles match between the two as you can. And that's just really clever. And then the terrains themselves have these effects for your meeple when they move around as well. So there's lots to think of. And there's quite a lot under this, which is, yeah, when I look at all the other tile placement games that are out there, this really stands out as doing something very different and very clever. So
Yes.
highly regarded.
It is on BGA, Board Game Arena. I would recommend to learn the rules properly before getting into Board Game Arena, because it could be a bit confusing there. Like, oh, you need to move what? You need to do this, do this. The effect of the tiles, the 2 boards that you have, the main board and your board, and then your personal objective that you need to match your own personal board, not the common board, and so on. So other than that, just hopefully you enjoy it. My number 2 of November is Gin. This is also an Essen release, and this is the game about going around and bottling gin. So collect the bottles, collect the corks, and then boop, prison the gin. This is not the gin that you can ask for 3 wishes or anything like that, unfortunately.
No, these ones are more terrorizing the village.
This is the terror science. It's probably called gin, not genie.
Yeah, this is more of the Jafar type of gin, right?
Scary, yeah. I would imagine so. Jafar from Aladdin. So the turns are really quick. You are limited to do the next action depending on what action you take before that. So there's a map on the main board. You move your character through like a passageway through the next action. And then some actions there's like a weaker action version of the action. There's more powerful version of the action. So you gotta like time it right to make sure that you get what you want. Sometimes you do more of a small circle. Sometimes you want to go this way just to find the action that you want. And so many things that you can do as well. There are cards you draft first for your advantage and your disadvantage. I really like that. It's like makes your games different already right at the start. Nothing groundbreaking. I mean, a little bit groundbreaking maybe.
A little bit. There's light to medium changes.
Yes.
Games are so scared to give you a disadvantage. I like that they give you a disadvantage.
Yeah, and I was like,
I just sound mean all the time.
No, you're not.
I think it is nice to, you know, there are ways that you can make someone's life a little bit harder, and that's different to having a personal benefit.
Can you imagine how I live with Tarrant? He makes my life so much harder. No, I'm kidding. No, that means that you want me to make your life harder?
Just got to play life on advance mode.
Hang on, I just came to realization that I can probably shop all the Vendula bags that I want to make your life harder, for example.
Back to gin.
So the turns are really quick. It's really snappy, I think. I mean, we play with people that has got not too much AP.
That one friend that takes their time.
lead to AP. If you have all selections of turns, then yes. But this is where you can only select.
Yeah, if you're not thinking ahead, you've usually only got 2 to 3 choices, so it goes really quickly.
Yeah.
If you are thinking ahead, you're actually planning out an optimal point-to-point movement.
Yep. We have how to play for this one, so please do check it out. I'm not going to say a lot more about how it plays, so check it out yourself. And this is just a fun game. That is Jim.
Okay, and we come to my favourite game, new to me in November, was Arborea. So this was from Alley Cat Games, an Essen pickup. And this is a game with, it's a Euro with high interaction. So instantly I like that. That's always my my trend.
And lots of incentive together. Is that the word?
Yeah, it's kind of like shared resources.
incentive,
so you've got shared resources and economics. So you can contribute resources to the common supply, and you'll get points as you do that, and you'll get more points for the scarcer ones. Or you can just contribute them and spend them before anyone else has the chance, in which case you lose the points, but you gain the fact that you were able to spend them first. There's another economic track as well, where you're like putting creatures into a market for people to take. It benefits as you do that, and benefits as you take them away. But this game also has an interesting timing, and it's the closest, there's nothing out there like Tzolk'in, and this isn't really like Tzolk'in, but it's the most like Tzolk'in I've come across since Tzolk'in. There are 4 paths where you put your meeples, and there are various ways that the paths will advance, and that will push your meeple towards the stronger actions on those spaces. But you can only jump off when someone moves the path. And so it adds this interesting risk question where do you expect someone else to advance a path so that you can jump off at a stronger space?
That is interesting, yeah.
Or are you going to be stranded on the path at the start of your turn and have to waste what ultimately happens is you waste the chance to place another meeple and give you another action later, just to have to spend your time jumping off so you can do the action now. So none of these are decisions that are going to ruin your game, but they're decisions that over the course of the game will add up to a lot of interesting, interesting risks and rewards and things like that. And then ultimately you're making your own little personal placement mat and trying to line up various creatures to score in high-scoring ways. So it's got that nice little spatial thing going on as well. There's a meeple economy. So it's got all these nice little economies in it. Yeah, that's actually true, yeah. It puts a lot of things together that I haven't seen put together in this way for a while. So this is a really nice game. I do highly recommend this one. Very brightly coloured as well.
It is nice. Tarrant especially really like that interaction, I think, in Euro. Like, I wouldn't mind more of a solitaire multiplayer games, but you mostly like this sort of thing.
I do get not that I dislike multiplayer solitaires, but generally the more interaction there is, the more I'm going to be intrigued by the decisions. So I do highly recommend this.
And Razzo Vista, you've seen this before. This is my number 1. I say it why I like this game. The cards are great, so cute. The pieces are cute. This cheese worth points. There's the rats go around and then scrounging to different different rooms of the house, getting completing missions in there, and then getting the rewards and building it's just I don't know, it feels a bit like a computer game or like an app game or something, like a building room. I used to be addicted to that sort of game.
Castle building.
Yeah, something like that. It's just like building rooms, but it's
I reckon the bright colours kind of give you that thought as well, because that's what those app games are always like.
Oh yeah, probably. But that app game keep asking me to pay more to upgrade, otherwise I couldn't do this action. Stuff that I don't actually like app that does that. It's like, if you want to charge me up front and then I'll buy it, or maybe a demo version, and then if you want to get perpetual license and then pay this much, and then you can just have all the access rather than alright, you need to upgrade to get 5 gems, you need to pay $5. I'm not paying $5 for 5 gems. Thank you very much. There's nothing wrong if you do that. If you really, really love the game, but I play a few games at the same time, and I feel like it just keeps sucking you to spend money. Anyway, rest of Vista.
I think what you really liked we both like different things about this one, right? You really liked the card play, and making those combos.
Yes.
That's kind of the Euro engine buildy part of it. I liked that the worker placement part
Very
of
tight.
it was tight,
Yes.
and there was some decisions that you had to get in front of other people. Turn order is really... It's been a while since I've seen a game where turn order mattered this much as well.
Yes.
You really run out of good options if you're late in turn order.
Oh my gosh, it's just like that tight worker placement. You just can't afford to put all the meeples in one basket, not all meeples, all your minions in one basket, and then all of a sudden all the worker placement space are taken, and that's it. Your game's gone. Not really, maybe, but still, right? Building up for that strong action only for somebody to take it away.
There's engine building as well. When you reach when you do certain missions, you get to unlock things. So you're constantly improving your strengths as well. So it's got all of that engine building goodness.
Rest of Vista, and that's all our games. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and see you next time. Bye.